like you. Be strong to hold the powers of the sun. To dream, believe in strength. Now I'm the only one.
Hello everyone. Have you ever noticed that the most powerful moments don't always come from the loudest laughter or the most dramatic scenes? Sometimes, it's the quietest moments, the ones that last only a few seconds, that feel the most honest and leave the deepest mark on the heart. When all 7 BTS members finally reunited and gathered together at RM's house, the atmosphere felt warm, relaxed, and genuinely happy. Nothing was forced. Nothing felt staged. Smiles came naturally. Soft laughter filled the room, and conversations flowed without pressure, the way they do when people feel truly at ease. It was simply 7 people sharing space, comfort, and familiarity. Yet, in the middle of that warmth, there was one small moment that almost slipped by unnoticed. It wasn't dramatic. It wasn't meant for the camera. But if you were really paying attention, that moment spoke far more deeply than anything said that night. One gentle call. One spontaneous reaction. One instinctive act of care. And that's where the story begins. During BTS's live broadcast that night, something happened so quickly that it was easy to miss. It unfolded in seconds, quietly blending into the laughter and movement filling the room. Yet somehow, it became one of the most meaningful fragments of the entire live. The atmosphere was light, filled with jokes, teasing, and constant motion as the members moved around casually. In the middle of it all, Jimin called Jungkook over. Not loudly, not with exaggerated gestures. Just a single, simple phrase, "Come here," spoken softly. A tone instantly recognizable to anyone who understands their dynamic. A different tone. One not meant for everyone. A tone filled with care. Jungkook hadn't even fully processed the call when Jin, in his signature playful way, nudged him toward the sofa. Jungkook lost his balance and fell forward, his head going down first as his body landed against the couch. It all happened in a blink. Laughter erupted. The mood stayed light. It could have ended there. But among all the reactions, one stood out. The moment Jungkook fell, Jimin's focus shifted instantly. No laughter followed. No amused smile appeared. His eyes locked onto Jungkook, fully alert, fully concentrated, as if the world around him suddenly shrank, leaving only one point of focus. "Are you okay?" he asked immediately. "Is your neck okay?" The questions came out naturally, reflexively, as though they had long been ingrained in him. Even before the words fully settled, Jimin's body leaned forward, his arm lifting, ready to support, ready to steady Jungkook if needed. It wasn't staged. It wasn't performative. It was pure instinct, the kind that appears before logic has time to intervene. Jimin didn't wait for a long response. He didn't let the moment pass. He gently asked Jungkook to sit beside him, closing the distance between them, making sure he could see Jungkook's face clearly. Even when Jin continued joking and lightly pushed Jungkook back toward the sofa, Jimin's attention never wavered. His hand lifted and reached for Jungkook's neck with remarkable care. The movement was slow, gentle, deliberate, like someone checking something truly important. Not excessive. Not dramatic. Just a brief touch, heavy with meaning. A protective gesture that required no explanation. And that is precisely where its beauty lies. No big words. No exaggerated expressions. Just a quiet pause filled with concern. A small moment that felt deeply personal, even as it unfolded in front of millions of eyes. This is the kind of moment that helps people understand why Jikook's dynamic always feels different. They don't rely on grand scenes or explicit declarations. A quick glance. A hand ready to support. A question asked at exactly the right moment. That alone says more than enough. Everything about it felt spontaneous, warm, and profoundly human. And that moment didn't stand alone. Throughout the broadcast, the same subtle pattern appeared again and again, so naturally that it barely felt intentional. Every time Jungkook looked at Jimin, his expression softened. A smile appeared, wide, genuine, and light. Not a smile for the camera. Not exaggerated laughter meant to entertain. Just the smile of someone who feels comfortable, safe, and quietly happy simply because a certain person is nearby. And every time Jimin smiled, his gaze almost instinctively searched for Jungkook. Even in the middle of group conversations. Even surrounded by the other members. His eyes seemed to need to find Jungkook, if only for a brief second, as if the smile wasn't complete until Jungkook was within reach. There were no obvious signals. No attention-seeking gestures. Just small, repeated exchanges unfolding quietly in plain sight. Jungkook smiles when he sees Jimin. Jimin looks for Jungkook when he smiles. A perfectly closed loop, wordless and effortless. What makes it especially touching is how unconscious it all feels. They aren't trying to show anything. They're simply being themselves. Between laughter and conversation, they create tiny spaces where their connection lives and breathes. That's why so many people replay this live broadcast again and again. Not because of big moments, but because of the small details, the ones that feel real. Gestures that can't be rehearsed. Care that can't be manufactured. That night's BTS Live felt warm and grounded. All 7 members gathered to welcome the new year with ARMY, not as a formal event, but as a relaxed conversation in a space that felt like home. Jokes flowed freely. Interruptions happened naturally. Everything felt effortless as the countdown approached. 9, 8. When 0 was called, cheers filled the room. New Year wishes echoed. Hopes were shared. Smiles were exchanged. Small moments were remembered all over again. Laughter followed, and the night closed in warmth. The live ended without fireworks. Without grand scenes. And precisely because of that, it felt unforgettable. Behind the jokes and laughter, there was quiet care that couldn't be faked. There was a silent connection that didn't need to be announced. A calm presence, steady, constant, and always there. Jikook never need big words to explain what they share. Just one reflexive glance. One careful touch. One reaction that arrives before logic can catch up. Because love doesn't always have to be loud. Sometimes, it arrives in the softest ways, through care, protection, and the simple choice to stay close, even when the world grows noisy. Thank you for watching. If you felt the warmth of this small moment, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe so we can continue finding beauty in the details that are often overlooked. Happy New Year! May this year bring health, happiness, and love, for BTS and for all of us. See you in the next moment.
Like you, be strong to hold the powers of the sun. To dream